So my name is Yusuf Ibrahim and I'm Assistant Principal at Cardiff and Vale College, and I'm here to talk about the anti-racism metaverse, which we've delivered a presentation here at OneFile. So this started as a Welsh government-backed project, and as part of Cardiff and Vale College we delivered that across the FE sector in Wales. And what we were doing was looking to create a curriculum from scratch which is immersive but has an anti-racist element to it, so that it's really built upon anti-racist principles. So there have been a lot of enjoyable things. I think learning from the sectors, hearing the sectors, their challenges has been really interesting, but also how OneFile is responding to that too. And it's really interesting to look at the assessment process, really engaging with the employees, engaging with the trainers as well. And it's been really interesting to hear those conversations. So in terms of OneFile, what I see that they bring to the sector is a real innovative approach to assessment. And I think they really look at industry needs, but they also look at the skills that are needed to assess properly. And so that's something that I've really taken away from today. Proud to be living in Wales, the only country to commit to being anti-racist by 2030. That puts a lot of pressure, but also it generates a bit of excitement as well because it gives us a real goal to aim for. It's certainly an example of where policy has influenced practice, so different institutions are now looking at how to become more anti-racist. That's certainly a conversation that wouldn't have happened a few years ago. So just having a goal has really changed the landscape. And so within that context, colleges, schools, but also other public institutions are having to look at how they become more anti-racist in their actions. We find ourselves at a point now where we're having to choose what are the best mediums in which to communicate, how do we ensure that information is accurate, but also technology has implications for our privacy, for our rights and our freedoms. So we need to look at what happens when you implement a new technology, what are the consequences, the unintended consequences, but also not shy away from some of the big challenges that are there as well. We must also remember there are benefits too. So it's trying to balance those and not say we can't go down a certain route. So when it comes to things like technology and anti-racism, it's around profiling, biases, and one of the challenges around AI, does AI automatically become racist unintentionally because of the climate that it's growing in, or that it's being developed in, or it's learning in, and what needs to happen to try and mitigate that. But in terms of the solutions technology offers, I mean, the anti-racism curriculum is created in a metaverse. And so this is a technology-based solution where people from all over the world can access this metaverse. So Wales is going through a real transformation in education, both in terms of curriculum, but also in the way in which education is administered. So currently, Welsh government look after education within, as is the case, governments would look after education typically across the UK. Within Wales, from 16 onwards, a body called CETA, the Commission for Education Tertiary Research, is being established, which essentially is going to look at education post-16 onwards. So it's interesting you talk about a system. Education covers anything from anyone learning something all the way through to schools, universities, but also beyond that. And so what we're really trying to look at in Wales is that system of education and trying to really unsilo some of these places in terms of apprenticeships, universities, schools, colleges, sixth forms, and look a bit broader at the holistic education piece. I think one of the things that has been a problem is the lack of parity between vocational and academic. And that's something particularly in the UK that's been seen when you look in countries such as Germany, you look at Norway, that parity of esteem isn't as much of a problem. And so I think this is something that definitely Wales is looking at to see how that can be seen as a more equal playing field, if you like, going forward. And certainly with the new qualifications, this is an opportunity. How successful it is will depend on a number of factors, but ultimately that is the drive, that no matter what pursuit you want to go down, no matter what path of education you want to embark in, or what career you want to follow, that actually the route to that can be quite diverse. And if we want to unlock the talent pool that's within Wales, actually we need to be looking at how we can get people on the right track that allows them to explore their potential and engages them from an early age. And that can be on a vocational discipline, but also an academic discipline as well. The thing around collaboration is it's deep work, and it needs to be complementary work as well. I agree that Wales is different, of course, to the dynamic, if you like, of England, larger, different cities, different landscapes. Within Wales, it is an opportunity to look at the size and think, can you get a system right? Can you get a collaborative approach right between different regulators, between different bodies, to get an ecosystem that serves the people of Wales? And then, of course, that could be applied theoretically elsewhere. There are challenges in it because people have their own ways of working, they have their history, if you like, of how things have been done, and it's a challenge when looking at something new. And I also think it's important not to make early judgments on things, because actually actually sometimes you need to go through some pain before you see the real outputs. And so that's something that I think we're going through at the moment, where people are looking at what does a new curriculum look like, what do new qualifications look like, what does it mean to be regulated by a new body. And so I think initial judgments need to be cautiously looked at, but equally looking at that long-term goal of a more prosperous Wales.